do, so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective.
Our
Back,
special thanks to
against
today's
people who
webinar
patented being
convener
negative when
Harish
you should be getting after
Ashish
it.
Chanda,
Got
co-convener
facts over
Harish
facts
Chandra
over tracks, this and that,
Anandara,
spitting slow, spitting fast,
coordinator
I feel
Dr.
roast, I get
Akshaya.
gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase
Thank you
all the
all for
past
your
and the
exceptional
pettiness.
efforts and
A reflection
continuously
of the
support in
emptiness,
planning and
hilarious. You can
executing
do
this
it,
section
but top and
successfully.
delirious,
If
mysterious,
you want
because
to
you
become
are
a
the
resource
unattained
person or
exterior,
coordinator
inferior.
for
You
the
know I'll always be
upcoming
a
free
bit
online
superior.
faculty
Get off of
development
me, this
program,
ain't no
we will
humble
provide
brag.
a
I
link in the
want you to
comment
hear
section.
words, you can say them
Please
back. I
register through
want
that
you to
link.
feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to
The
last,
Google Meet
yeah.
capacity is currently full.
Now that I've
If
been
your friends or colleagues are waiting in your lobby, then please suggest them joining in YouTube live chat. Now, good evening, everyone. We warmly welcome you to the one-day free international webinar on Good evening, everyone. We warmly welcome you to the one-day free international webinar on Structuring a Research Paper, Anthony of a Strong Manuscript. I am Sivranji from Skill Activate. We will commence the webinar in a few minutes, as some participants are still joining. To ensure a smooth and focused section, please keep microphone muted during the section. Participants who unmuted without prior permission may be removed. If you want to become a resource person or coordinator for a free online faculty development program, we will provide a link in the comment section. If you are interested, please register through that link. We will commence the webinar in a few minutes, as some participants are still joining. To ensure a smooth and focused section, please keep your microphone muted during the section. Participants who unmuted without prior permission may be removed. Good evening, everyone. We warmly welcome you to the one-day free international webinar on Structuring a Research Paper, Anatomy of a Strong Manuscript. I am Sivaranjan from Skill Activate. We will commence the webinar in a few minutes, as some participants are still joining. To ensure a smooth and focused section, please keep your microphone muted during the section. Participants who unmuted without prior permission may be removed. If you want to become a resource person or coordinator for the free online faculty development program, we will provide a link in the comment section. If you are interested, please register through that link. We will commence the webinar in a few minutes, as some participants are still joining. To ensure a smooth and focused section, please keep your microphone muted during the section. Participants who unmuted without prior permission may be removed. Our special thanks to today's webinar convener Ashish Shada, co-convener Harish Chandra Anandaram, coordinator Dr. Akshaya. Thank you all for your exceptional efforts and continuously support in planning and executing this section successfully. If you want to become a resource person or coordinator for upcoming free online faculty development program, we will provide a link in the comment section. Please register through that link. The Google Meet capacity is currently full. If your friends or colleagues are waiting lively, then please suggest them joining on YouTube live chat. The feedback certificate link will share on YouTube live chat as well as on Google Meet chat. Now it is my privilege to introduce our estimated speaker, Dr. R. Deepa. Dr. R. Deepa, MSc, PhD, MBA, FBMS, a academic and research biochemistry, currently serving as an assistant professor of and head, Department of Biochemistry, Mother Dental College and Hospital, Chennai. With over 17 years of undergraduate and 10 years of postgraduate teaching experience. She holds a PhD in biochemistry and MBA health civil management and has qualified TNCET, reflecting her strong academic and research interests including diabetes, antioxidant, medical plant, nanomedicine, and public health support by 14 plus research publications and book chapters. A fellow of the Indian Association of Basic and Paramedicine Science. Book Book editor, journal reviewer, and international journal, Dr. Deepa has also shared several national and international certificates section and dedicated continues to inspire students and teaching research and institutional development. It's over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm Dr. R. Deepa from Mother Dental College and Hospital. I'm working as an associate professor in the Department of Biochemistry. Today, I'll be discussing on structuring a research paper, specifically anatomy of a strong manuscript. So overview, introduction to the scientific manuscript. These are the overview of scientific manuscript. Principle of scientific writing, a standard component IMRAD, introduction, methodology, followed by result, discussion, conclusion, and finally acknowledgement and references. Reason for the rejection of the paper and reviewer and editor expectation. Introduction to the scientific writing. Scientific writing actually is not just about reporting the results, it is about communicating a scientific research in a formal and structured manner. It mainly presents the original research findings and interpretations, or otherwise the reviews in clear and precise manner. So it should follow standardized format and ethical guidelines. It mainly ensured the transparency and peer evaluation that also share the knowledge with the academic background. So a manuscript is mainly is the bridge between the research and recognition. It follows some standardized format. So it is published mainly in the academic journal after the peer review. So the purpose of the scientific manuscript writing. So the major purpose is to communicate the research findings that clearly and accurately, and also share the knowledge to the research community. So the major purpose of the scientific manuscript writing is to share our new findings clearly and accurately and share our research knowledge with the community. So it also allows peer review and validate our research work. Our research work contribute to the advancement of the science mainly, and it is evidence-based practice. So finally, it ensures the transparency of our study, research study, and reproducibility. That is very important. In the methodology section, we will discuss about this, and ethical reporting of the research. So the principles of scientific manuscript writing. So there are 6 major principles you should follow when you're writing the scientific manuscript. First of all, clarity and precision. So clarity and precision are the foundation of the scientific writing. It mainly presents the research ideas, methodology, result clearly and unambiguously. It must be explained in simple and direct language without any ambiguous. So second principle is accuracy and reproducibility. So accuracy means reporting your research result or data exactly as obtained. Okay, so whatever you are getting, you can exactly mention. That is the accuracy. And reproducibility. Reproducibility means another scientist or researcher can anywhere, that is a researcher anywhere in the world, they can reuse or repeat the study using only our methodological section. They can repeat our study using only the methodological section. Then coming to the objectivity, in the objectivity, it interpret mainly the research findings based on the evidence and avoiding the bias. So next is the logical structures. So logical structures such as IMRAD format. So this is the standard format for the manuscript writing. So I stands for introduction, M for method, R for result, and D for discussion. It provides logical flow which organize the manuscript clearly. Next is transparency. So you can clearly report the methodology and limitation of your studies in this. Then conflict of the interest. So next is ethical integrity. It is very, very important. Ethical integrity is the one of the major sensitive part, and it is the main part in the scientific manuscript writing. So in case of human studies, you should clearly mention the ethics committee approval and informed consent process. Actually, it is the fundamental requirements. Then authorship criteria. So authorship criteria is about it is about the intellectual contribution. It is not about the seniority or designation or institutional hierarchy. It is about mainly the intellectual contribution. So only those who have contributed to the concept design or data analysis, you should list that as a author in the manuscript. Then plagiarism. So in the plagiarism is another important thing in your manuscript writing. After completing your manuscript, you can check plagiarism. It is copying of the other studies, which mainly avoidable in the manuscript writing. Then next move on to the types of scientific writing. So different types of scientific writings. First one is original research article, review article, case report or case series, short communication, letter to the editor, systematic review, and meta-analysis. These are some types of scientific writing. So first one is original research article. So mainly it highlights the experimental or observational findings. There should be followed the structured format IMRAD, that is introduction, methodology, research, result and discussion format. Then in case of review article, it is about critically synthesize the existing literature. Review article mainly highlight the gaps in the existing literature and propose the future directions. Third one is about case report or case series, which document rare or unique cases, mainly emphasize the diagnosis or therapeutic insights. Next is short communication. So short communication is about a brief report of the significant findings. So or otherwise the methodological innovations. The next one is letter to the editor. This is about concise comments or critics, scholarly shared. Next is systematic review and meta-analysis. So it is a structured evidence synthesis. Meta-analysis mainly combine data statistically for overall conclusions. So this flow chart is very, very important. This is adapted from the Harvard University, and this is mainly the writing manuscript process. So many authors struggle with manuscript writing, not because of the poor data, because they can write in the wrong order. So this flow chart mainly shows the practical and editor-friendly systems. How can you write your manuscript orderly? So according to this Harvard University, so here they can mention, you can start your manuscript writing early, and first of all you can determine the authorship. So the first and foremost step is to determine the authorship, because this avoid the future conflicts or ensure the transparency. So after this you can organize your data. So you can clearly organize your data, and followed by you can construct key figures and tables. So in the results section, mainly the results are expressed in the form of the figures and tables. So you have to prepare your figures and tables in the results section first, then followed by you can write the methodology of your research study, then write introduction. So before introduction, you can write the discussion. See, the order of the writing manuscript, it started with determination of the authorship first, followed by organization of the data. You can clearly organize your data. Then you can prepare your result in the form of figure and tables, followed by
Ma'am, you are on mute.
am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Am I
Kevin.
audible? Yes. Sir, actually, this flow chart is mainly emphasize the ordering of the, one second. Yeah. Slide is visible, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So actually, many authors struggling when writing the manuscript because of the lacking of the correct order. So this flow chart highlight the practical and editor-friendly systems for writing the manuscript. So according to Harvard University, they can mention you can start your writing manuscript early, and first of all, the first step is to determine your authorship. So after that, you can organize your data. Then
Ma'am, again you are on mute.
yes, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Slide is visible.
Now it's visible, madam.
Now slide is visible.
Ma'am, paper is visible. Can you turn on one side here? Another slide you can off your mic. Okay.
Now
One device, one device, please off that. Yes, ma'am. You are audible.
so slides
Yes, ma'am.
is visible. No. Yes. So after finally you can after the discussion part you can write finally abstract after the completion of the manuscript.
Yes, ma'am. You are audible, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Continue. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I can't listen to you. You're not audible.
Now, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So this is the standard format for manuscript writing. I stand for the introduction, M for method, R for result, and D for discussion. Okay. So this is actually a mirror of the scientific method, which mainly provide the logical flow of the scientific matter, okay, or information. So this method provide logical flow of information. It keep the manuscript consistent and straightforward to read. It also create map that easily reader to locate the relevant content quickly. Reader easily can access the relevant content when you following this standard method. So this is a basic component of scientific paper. So each component of scientific paper has a distinct function. First one is title. So the title is very important because this is the first point of the contact between the manuscript and reader. Title is the first point of the contact between the manuscript and reader, so it is very important. So it captures the essence of the study, mainly it highlight the study objectives or otherwise the outcome of the
Hello?
study.
Hello,
So
ma'am.
the title should be,
Hello?
sir, yes. Am I continue?
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, basic component of scientific paper. This slide shows the basic component of scientific paper. So, each component have distinct functions. So, the title is primemost one. It is connect. This is actually primary contact between the manuscript and reviewer. So, it should be specific and concise, which mainly reflect the core research question or otherwise the outcome of the research, which mainly highlight the objective or outcome of the research topic. So next is abstract. Abstract is a brief summary of the entire paper. Usually the word limit of the abstract is 150 to 250 words. So up to 300 words you can use. Then it includes background of your research study, objective, methods, key results and conclusions. So after the abstract introduction, this is the prime part of the manuscript. So it sets mainly the context and rationale for the study. It reviews relevant literatures. You can write the relevant literature in the introduction section. Then you should identify the research gap, followed by you can state clearly the research objectives or hypothesis in the introduction section. Next is methodology. So in methodology section, you should clearly describe how the study was conducted, and you should include research design. In case of health research, you can include research design, sample, tools, procedure, and statistical method to ensure the reproducibility. Next is result section. So in the result, you clearly find out, you clearly present your findings, and you mainly use in the form of text or tables or figures. So here in the result section, you should avoid interpretations. It focus on what was observed. So next is discussion part. In the discussion part, you can clearly interpret the result in light of existing knowledge, and also explore the implication of your research study, limitation of your study, and potential future directions. Next is conclusion. Finally, it summarizes all the findings here. So, which mainly highlight the findings, and many it may suggest the applications or further future research in the conclusion. So these are the basic component of scientific writing. So title, it should be specific and concise. Abstract, it clearly, it is a brief summary of the entire paper. Then introduction, it is in the introduction you can write background of your study, and then relevant literature. Then you should mention the objective of the study. Then methodology section, you should include your research design, sample collection, tools which you have been used, the procedure of your research, and then statistical method. Then in the results section, you clearly mention the findings. Interpretation will come under the discussion part. Then finally, conclusion, you can summarize your findings in the conclusions. Mainly significance of your study. Then next is developing an effective title and structured abstract. So the title and abstract are the first section of the scientific research paper. It mainly provide both title and abstract provide quick overview of your study for the reader and reviewer. So you should clearly mention the title. Mainly it highlight your topic, research topic, scope and focus of your research. So it should contain fewest possible words, and title should be informative, but it should be concise. Effective title helps reader easily judge the relevance of your research topic or field of your interest. Next is abstract. So the abstract should be written as one concise paragraph. It must be clear, precise, and easily understandable to a broad specific audience. So the content should accurately reflect background of your research, objective of your study, then methodology, key result, conclusion of your study. So effective abstract is mainly interesting, and it encourages the audience or readers to continue reading the full manuscript. So the abstract should be specific, avoid unnecessary details here. So it strongly influence editorial and peer review decision. Mainly the topic and title and structured abstract only influences the decision of the editor or peer reviewer, whether it is accepted or rejected. So it should be kept as brief as possible. So within the word limit, you can specify according to the journal which you have chosen. So it is easier to write the abstract after the completion of paper. So there is some order to write the scientific manuscript. According to Harvard University, they have clearly mentioned that first of all you can write your result, followed by methodology, then discussion, then introduction. Finally, after the completion of the manuscript only, they are asking to write abstract and title. Next, moving to keywords. So keywords are specific terms that highlight core content of your research paper. So choosing of keyword is very, very important because which highlight our core content of our research work. So they help in indexing, searchability, and which easily discoverable our article in database. So this keywords only helps to discoverable of our article in the database. So Elsevier journal recommends selecting 3 to 6 keywords. So it is journal specific. The choosing that is the wordings. How many keywords you want to mention under the abstract? It is according to a journal chosen. Then keyword should not repeat words that already used in the title unless it's essential. Then you can use standardized, commonly accepted scientific terms. Avoid very broad or generic terms like study, example, study, analysis, or effect like that. Then each keyword should reflect methods, population, variable, and key concept of your study. So arrange your keywords in alphabetical order, which is separated by the commas. So keyword usually come under the abstract. Next, move on to the introduction part. So introduction is the primary part when you're writing the manuscript. It mainly states the purpose or rationale for the research. It provides mainly the background of the problem. So in the introduction part, you can first of all write the background of your research study. For example, about history of your research or otherwise important key terms or definition you should mention in the background of your study. Then after that, what is known and what is remain unknown. So why the study is necessary, you should mention. Then followed by you can highlight the gaps, research gap in the literature. The study mainly aim to fill the following things. Then it also emphasizes the relevance of your research questions that includes research hypothesis, primary and secondary outcomes. So introduction part mainly highlight first of all you can write the background of your research study, then you should write a review of literature. Then after that you clearly mention your research hypothesis. So a strong base for aims and objectivity of the study, which mainly here the important statement, it must be supported by the references. You can clearly mention the reference. So the tense usage in the introduction part, primarily you can use past tense. For example, in the background section, you can use past tense, describe your previous literature. When you describe your previous literature or state your study objectives, you can use past tense. Example, Smith et al. Reported that, for example, if glucose level is increased in the previous study, you can use past tense. Then in the present tense is applied when discussing about the fact that always true, or you can use the general principle or established knowledge. For example, diabetes is a chronic metabolic disease, like that you can use present tense. So the balanced approach is essential when you're writing the introduction section. So both past tense and present tense are used here. So past tense builds context from prior studies. Present tense emphasize universal truth or ongoing relevance research studies. So you keep the introduction concise with clear tense distinction for readability and academic rigor. So when you're writing the introduction section, first of all, you should mention about a general background of your research study, followed by a brief literature review, then a rationale of your study, and you should mainly highlight your objective of your study. Then the second section is methodology. So the purpose of methodology, you provide the details exactly how the research was conducted, and mainly the methodology ensured transparency and reproducibility of the study. So here, how what did you do? You get your result. So what method you have been used to find out your result? So the methodology section, it include your research design, tools or material used in your research study, then study procedure followed, techniques applied for the data analysis. These are the important things included in your methodology section. Then level of details. You can mention sufficient details in the methodology because another researcher or scientist to replicate the study under the similar condition. They can repeat your study, mainly the methodology section they can use for their studies. So it is very, very important. Next is it establish credibility of the findings. Without it, the paper loses its integrity. So you should clearly thoroughly mention your methodology section about what material you have been used and procedure of your particular parameters and what population, the study procedure and people. So selective region people have been used for your studies. You should clearly mention in the methodology section. Then the writing style in the methodology, you can use past tense, describing what was done, what method according to that you have used. So you should mention clearly and then maintain formal and objective tone in the methodology when you writing this. So next is proposed subheading for a method section. Subheading is very essential to easily understand your methodology. So you can use the following sections: study settings, study design, sampling strategy, sample size, study procedure, operational definition, data management that include collection, data collection and data analysis, then human participant production. These are the methodology section, subheadings of the methodology sections. So here, so this table highlights the subheading and the purpose of the study. So in the studies setting, you can describe where and when the study was conducted. So the location or institution, and you should clearly mention in your study, then time frame of your research study. Then study design, you specifically mention your type of study, either a cross-sectional study or cohort or randomized control trial. So that you should mention the study design. Then sampling strategy, you should explain how participants were selected. So what method you have been used, a random or a stratified method, convenient sampling method. So you should clearly mention here in the sampling strategy. Then sample size, you provide number of participants and justification for that number. So you can clearly mention the sample size of your study. Then study procedure, detailed steps of data collections, interventions and follow-ups in the study procedure. Then operational definition, you should clearly define the key terms or variables and measurement used in your studies. Then in the data management, you should explain about your data collection, storage and statistical analysis software which is used for the data collection, so data management. Then human participant protection, it is another important issue here. So ethical approval, informed consent, confidentiality and compliance with the guidelines, these are very essential component of your research study. It is mandatory before you are starting your manuscript, you will get ethical approval. Either if you are using animal or human in your study, you can get the ethical approval. So ethical committee approval. So institutional clearance, which mainly state the name of the institutional ethics committee or review board that approved the study. So approval reference and date include the approval number, date of clearance to document formal authorization. Informed consent process describe that how written or verbal consent was obtained from the participants. In case if you are using human participants in your study, you should get informed consent from the participants and ensuring voluntary participations. Next is confidentiality measures, outline procedure for maintaining privacy and data protection, including anonymization. So, if applicable, then compliance with ethical standard. You should follow ethical standard or guidelines prescribed by the ICMR, that is Indian Council of Medical Research guidelines. So in the method section, do's and don'ts. So here, edit protocols, turn future tense into past tense, and structure the section clearly. In the methodological section, you should clearly mention, then describe what was done, step-by-step procedure. Quote only key references that describe the method used. You clearly cite the references here for your method using. Then cite a sampling methodology paper. Okay, then don'ts are you do not use passive voice, and do not provide result here in the methodology section, and do not provide excessive details on the information collected in the methods. Then do not list every questions of the instruments. Instead, list only the broad categories of the information collected. So importance of the method section. So it is very important because credibility, repeatability, because another scientist, they can repeat our studies, only the methodological section. So it is very important. And understanding results, accurate interpretations, the scope of the future studies. So mainly the reproducibility is the cornerstone of the scientific integrity. So it provides the credibility. So coming to the results section, so it mainly presents the experimental findings. In the results section, you should mainly that is you should only mention the your research findings without commentary or inference. Without inference, you should mention only the research findings here. So interpretation and explanation are excluded in the result part. That is for come under the discussion section. So results are organized using clear subheadings. Study objectives according to your primary and secondary objectives. You can put your result. Then individual experiments, defined outcome measures. Based on that, you can clearly subheading the result part. Then findings are reported in a logical and hierarchical sequences. Primary outcomes are presented first, followed by secondary and supportive outcomes follow, which mainly emphasize the clarity, objectivity. So in the result part, you can answer for your objectivity, and it should provide in clear and conciseness in the data presentation. So the readers clearly understand what was observed before addressing why it is important. So tables and figures. So results mainly expressed in the form of the tables and figures. So tables are appropriate for presenting a large or complex or multivariable data sets that difficult to describe clearly in the narrative text. So it is essential in the form of the table. Then figures are best using to list trends or pattern or comparison of the two groups, like control or disease conditions. So relationship. So in this context, so that figures are mainly used to illustrate this, where visual representation enhances easily understanding of your study. Then table and figures should be clear, self-explanatory, and scientifically accurate. Each table and figure must have a descriptive title and clearly indicate its content. So it should be numbered sequentially and cited appropriately in the test. Use standard unit symbols and abbreviations defined either in footnotes or legends. So statistical information is provided under the table, like such as mean or standard deviation or p-values, significance. You should clearly mention under the table wherever it is applicable. Then commonly used type of the graphs, pie chart, bar chart, line graphs, histograms. These are some commonly used graphs in your research study. So this picture shows the table. So you can see that above table, you can highlight a table number and description of the title. So the title and table number is above the tabular column. So under the table, footnotes or statistical information is provided. So the data is provided here. So the grouping, group 1, group 2, group 3, 4, 5, these are the treatment groups mentioned here. So this particular table explaining about the effect of the methanolic extract of nimosopodic on the blood glucose. So pre-study after 1 week, 2 week, and 3 week, their result interpreted here. So this result indicate whether the original research question has been adequately answered or addressed, and mainly provide the foundation for shaping and direction of the future investigations. So coming to the discussion part, so the discussion is often considered this most challenging part or challenging section to write. So as it required critical analysis rather than description. So results are discussed here and interpreted, but not repeated or re-summarized. It is mainly interpreted here in the discussion part. So the section should begin with a brief statement of your main findings. Directly answer the research question in the opening paragraph. So this should be followed by critical comparison with the existing literature. So your result, whatever you are getting, you should compare with your existing literature, whether it is similar or differences. In case of you will get difference result, you should highlight or you can mention the evidences for your studies. So results it should be discussion part. This should be followed by a critical comparison with the existing literature, highlighting the similarities and differences with the previous studies. So the preference should be given to recent studies published in the high impact fact journal. So you should compare your study with the existing literature, recent studies. You can use at least the last 5 years published paper for comparing your results. So, in case of variation in your findings across the studies, so appropriate scientific and clinical explanation should be provided in the discussion part, and it is supported by valid references. So, clinical and research implication of your findings should be clearly articulated. Then, strength and limitation of your studies should be it must be acknowledged transparently in the discussion part, and the potential improvements along with the future research directions should be suggested to guide further studies. So mainly in the discussion part, uh, interpret your result, not repeating or re-summarized. Then you should follow a critical comparison, that is compare your result with the existing literature, whether it is similar or differences. In case of any variation in your findings, you should provide appropriate scientific or clinical explanation, then it's supported by the valid references. So you should finally mention the strength of your research study and the limitation of your study, and finally improvement to be needed and future research directions. It should be suggested to guide further studies. So importance of discussion section that mainly explain the meaning and significance of your research study result. Then it clarify the implication of individual findings within the study setting. It presents the researcher original scientific interpretation hypothesis. Place the findings within the context of existing scientific evidence. It critically addresses the strength and limitation of the study. So both the strength as well as the limitation of the study mentioned in the discussion part, and it also provide evidence-based recommendation that relevant to policy and professional practices. So coming to the conclusion part, so the conclusion that summarize your key findings, present the main result clearly, highlighting the significance in answering the research question. Then advanced knowledge, it show how the study contribute to the existing body of involved in analysis or writing. You mainly mention here technical staff or laboratory assistant, collaborator who supported your studies, and appreciate your colleagues or mentors who provided constructive feedback about your research, discussion on the editorial guidance. Mention the funding bodies and institutions, including grant numbers or project support where applicable. Then finally, references. So references acknowledges the intellectual contribution of the others and upholds academic integrity. All the sources cited in the test, either in the introduction part or discussion part. Mainly in the introduction and discussion part, you can mention the reference section. So you can clearly mention the cited article in the reference section without omission. So reference format vary across to the discipline and journals. So according to the journal which you have been choosing, based on that, the reference format is vary. They can the standard format is APA or Vancouver style. They can use. It is consistency is essential in the reference format. In test citation, support specific claims and it must be correspond accurately to the reference list. So common styles are APA, Vancouver, MLA, and Harvard style, which each with distinct formatting rules. So proper referencing which enhance credibility, traceability, and scholar rigor. So error in the citation formatting or missing references may lead to manuscript rejection. It is also very important part reference. So before the manuscript submission, you check thoroughly each references whether it is according to the journal format. So referencing should be done using reliable tools or journal prescribed templates. So there are many tools are available for referencing. Mandally apps are available. So common reason for manuscript rejection and strategy to avoid them. So poor fit with the journal scope. Reason because submitting to a journal whose aims and audience do not match the topic. Before submitting your manuscript, you clearly check the scope of the journals. So it is matched to our research study. So carefully read the journal scope and recent publication before the submission. Then weak study design and methodology. So inadequate sample size or flawed methods or incomplete statistics. So uh, it also reason for the rejection of our paper. So ensure the methodological rigor, use appropriate statistical test according to our research study. Then describe the method clearly in your methodology section. Then next is plagiarism or ethical concern. So overlap with published work or otherwise a duplicate submission or lack of the ethical clearance, it also leads to rejection of our research paper. So use proper tool, plagiarism check tool. Then you should strictly follow the ethical guidelines and avoid simultaneous submissions. The next is poor writing and structures. So lack of clarity in your manuscript writing or any grammatical errors, typo errors, or disorganized presentation leads to rejection. So you can write concisely, follow IM or AD format, that is introduction, method, result, and discussion format. Sometimes researcher they can merge both result and discussion part. So you avoid this and consider professional editing support. So these are the some common reasons for manuscript rejection and strategies to avoid. Next, over interpretation of your result. So drawing conclusion not supported by data or ignoring the limitation. You should clearly mention your study limitation in your research paper and present result objectively, acknowledge limitation, avoid executions. So incomplete or incorrect references, missing citations or outdated sources, or in case of inconsistent, it also leads to rejection. So use reference management softwares and follow the journal style guide strictly. So before you submit your manuscript, you clearly check the author guidelines or instruction to the author that is posted in the journal website. So you check thoroughly that. Then you should follow strictly whatever they have mentioned. Then figures and tables issues, poor quality visuals, missing legends, inconsistent data is also leads to rejection. So ensure clarity, proper labeling of your table and figures, compliance with journal requirements. So these are some reasons for manuscript rejection and strategy to avoid that. Next is core expectation of reviewers and editors in academic manuscript. So what they can expect for accepting their manuscript or articles. Mainly the following sections: title, abstract, introduction, research question, literature review, methods, result, figures and tables, citation, discussion, and writing styles. These are the essential component of your manuscript. So title, it must be descriptive and precise manner, reflecting the core focus of your study. Title that should mainly highlight our research objectives or otherwise outcome of your studies. Then in the abstract, it concise summary of the entire articles. So it also adhere to recommend word limit. You should follow the word limit according to the journal. Then introduction, so brief and impactful. You provide relevant background of your research study and rationale for the study. Clearly mention the objective of your study in the introduction section. Then coming to the research question, clearly articulated to guide the study objectives and methodology. So which mainly highlight objective and methodology of your study. Then literature review, comprehensive and current literature review. You can use last 10 years articles. when you're writing the literature review, then emphasizing relevance and avoiding outdated sources, which mainly mention relevance to your research study. Then methodology, detailed methodological section, you should clearly mention your materials used and methods you have been used in your research study that is replicable, so enabling reproducibility of the study. Then coming to the results section, it is presented mainly in the past tense, clearly and logically organized. The result of your research study that clearly and logically organized without the interpretation, because the interpretation is come under the discussion part. Okay. Then figures and tables, it should be self-explanatory, conveying our result data without reliance on main text. So next is citation. You must be directly relevant and properly integrated into the narrative. Sorry. So it must be directly relevant and properly integrated into the test. Then the discussion part, you should resolve the research questions, compare with the prior studies, address your study limitation, and propose the future direction of your research. Then the writing style used in the manuscript are clear, logical, and concise that ensure academic rigor and readability. So these are the expectation of reviewers and editors in the academic manuscript. You should strictly follow this. Then finally, scientific experiment is not complete until the result have been published and understood. So the effective manuscript writing that transform research into meaningful scientific contribution. Sorry. So thank you for your attention. So finally, I would like to thank the organizer, Skill Activate, to provide this wonderful opportunity. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for explaining about some topics like
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
reference management and proper citation participation, ethical consideration, and scientific writing. Before we
Actually,
conclude, we
reference.
would like to thank our sponsors, JVK Technologies. JVK Technologies offers a publication service including Scopus, SCA, patent, copyright, thesis, and textbook, etc. For any publication assigned, you are warmly invited to their WhatsApp group that link, link in the chat box as well as on comment section. Before we conclude, we would like to thank our sponsors JVK Technologies. JVK Technologies offers a publication service including Scopus, SCI, patent, copyright, thesis, and textbook, etc. For any publication assigned, you are warmly invited to their WhatsApp group link in the chat box as well as on comment section. We also thank all the participants for joining us today. Please fill the feedback form for the certificate. Those who fill the feedback only will get the certificates. We also thank all participants for joining us today. Please fill the feedback form for the certificate. Those who fill the feedback only will get the certificates. We also thank all participants for joining us today. Please fill the feedback form for the certificate. Those who fill the feedback only will get the certificate. Those who fill the feedback form can leave the meeting. Thank you.
Ma'am, shall I leave?
Sorry for inconvenience. Convenience. Please check in YouTube description. We are facing a technical issues in Google Meet. Please check in YouTube description.